Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Christian. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, good night, good day. Wherever you are, whenever you're seeing this, I hope you are good. So guys, today we're going to be doing a chit chat video and I am going to be talking about almost four topics that you guys left under my last community tab post. I basically asked you guys to leave me some video topics that you would like to see outside of the things that I have already talked about. So yes, you guys gave me a lot of very great suggestions. And I put together this video based on a little bit of everything that somebody said. Now I am going to be going back to that list and making sure that I get into all of the content and all of the ideas that you guys left. But this is what we're going to be starting off with. I appreciate y'all. I hope you guys have been doing great. Make sure you check into the podcast and get into the latest episode. Make sure you are following me on Instagram and you're getting into everything with the book club and everything that I have going on. The business mentorship, Fruitful You, is finally beginning next week and I have a full class. I am so grateful that you guys were so excited about the business mentorship. I am so excited about it. I know it's going to be awesome and I know everybody is going to leave with a bag, okay? And I'm definitely going to be doing another semester. So if you weren't able to do it, don't be too upset. We are going to have another semester of Fruitful You in the fall. So yes, let's go ahead and get into it. As always, you can book sessions with me, releasing sessions, get your self-led tarot course, and whatever else you want to get into, you can connect with me down below in the description box. But today we're going to be talking about the journey of starting over, overcoming imposter syndrome and depression, and also accepting the phase that you're in. We had a couple of different people that mentioned overcoming depression. Someone mentioned imposter syndrome. Someone else said the journey of starting over. A lot of you guys liked that comment. And we had another comment that said accepting the phase that you're in. I think that all of these topics kind of tie in together. So let's just get into it with the journey of starting over. So the first thing that I think is important to bring up when you're talking about the journey of starting over is that life is kind of the journey of starting over. You know, the journey of starting over is something that really is never ending. And I think we should kind of change our perception in relationship to the word journey. Sometimes we think that journey means something has an ending, or we think that journey means that something isn't forever. But the truth of the matter is we are forever on this journey of life, starting over, getting knocked down, coming against the obstacles, winning, losing, doing great, doing really not so great. It's a part of life. So the journey of starting over is never going to end. You are always going to be starting over. And the more comfortable you are knowing that and trusting that you'll always be right where you need to be, the better. Because every day is a new day. You'll never encounter a day that you've already done before. You'll never encounter a situation that you've already done. Like, even every time you brush your teeth, if you brush your teeth the same way, you never brush your teeth on this day at this time, and you never will again, because once the moment is gone, it's gone. You know, we are always starting over from moment to moment, from minute to minute. Like, you'll never have a chance to be right where you are in this moment. And when a second passes, you'll never have a chance to be right where you are in that moment. So we're always starting over. I think that when we talk about the journey of starting over, we're really talking about the journey of accepting that things are not going to always go the way we plan. I think that's really what we're trying to cope with, because we didn't think we were going to have to start over. We thought that the last finish line was going to be the last finish line. We thought the last obstacle was going to be the last obstacle. And that's not the case. And it really is never the case. You know, we never really reach a point, I don't think, where we're just done learning, we're done growing, and we're done evolving. So you're always going to be starting over. You're always going to be rebuilding a new version of you. So get comfortable with starting over and embrace the process of starting over. You don't ever want to be done. You don't ever want to be at the point where there's no more growth. There isn't any more expansion. There isn't a next level or a next step for you. You don't want to get to that point. You want to always be able to elevate and change and grow and evolve. So accept that the journey of starting over is something that is ongoing. Accept that it's never going to end. Accept that you're going to be starting over as long as you are living and breathing. You will be starting fresh. And that's the biggest blessing, that we can always have a fresh start, you know? So see it as a good thing. Don't get so attached to one outcome. Don't get so attached to one version of your story that when, you know, things just change, like life always changes, you have this aversion to change, this aversion to starting over from ground zero. For whatever reason, we think that we lose our progress when we start over from ground zero, but ground zero for you might be, you know, also your level 573. You know, like, your ground zero is really when you were born, and not even when you were born, because you have been alive before then. Like ground zero, we don't know ground zero. We don't know starting over from anything. If you can talk, if you can walk, if you have somewhere to stay, like if you are of able body, sound, and mind, if you are here, in an environment and you just have to catch up to everything else, you're not starting over from ground zero. You have more than you think. So I think reminding yourself of all of the things that you have at your disposal when you're in the headspace of starting over makes a big difference, because you don't feel like you're starting over with everything working against you. You know that, yeah, you're starting over, but you're equipped, you're more prepared, you're ready, and you're ready for whatever God has for you. So be excited about starting over. See it as a new opportunity to learn. Be excited to learn. Be excited to start fresh. Be excited to be leveled up into a new position. It's a blessing to be leveled up. It's a blessing to be taken from one space and be brought into another. And we just have to see that. Life makes us too comfortable with being comfortable. Life makes us not want to ever do anything hard or be uncomfortable or be afraid or not know what's next. And that's why we say that the peace that God gives you surpasses all understanding. It shouldn't make sense how calm you are in your new fresh start when you don't even know what tomorrow is going to hold. That doesn't even make sense, but that's what we should strive to feel. We should strive to have peace even when we don't know what tomorrow holds, because we know it's going to be fine. And we also know that we don't need to have all the answers. I don't have to have all the answers because God has all the answers. I don't have to have all the answers because nobody else does. Who am I comparing myself to? What human is around me with all the answers? Never a bad day, never a mistake, never a mishap. Who is around me that I'm seeing and comparing myself to? There isn't one person. There isn't one person who has it easy, who isn't always starting over. So don't feel like other people have it easier than you. Don't feel like they don't got to start over. Why you got to start over? Don't feel like that. Everybody is starting over all the time in some way, shape, or form, whether it's in career, lifestyle, mindset, health, relationship, friendship, romance. Everybody is always starting over. There's always something new, even if it's just in time, because we're always evolving, we're always growing, we're always changing. So just accept the journey and develop a different outlook about it. And don't be so attached to one outcome. Don't be so attached to having control over the things that you want. Don't be so focused on just knowing how things are going to be. Sometimes be open to not knowing. Be open to things just evolving and falling into place. And when you get there, then you'll know you've reached a very special level of enlightenment, because you might get to a point where you feel like everything is going to be okay, even though you're surrounded by nothing. But that might not last forever. The next time you're surrounded by nothing, you might feel like everything is going to end again. So we also have to remember that you started over before and it was okay. So you can do it again and it's going to be okay. Don't ever count yourself out. Don't ever feel like you aren't good enough or equipped or prepared enough to start over and do something new. If you weren't, you wouldn't be in the position to do it. Clearly you are. So trust that and let that help you lead forward and step into some new spaces. So yeah, let's go ahead and get right into overcoming imposter syndrome and dealing with depression. So overcoming imposter syndrome. I think I've talked about overcoming imposter syndrome before, but I think overall we just have to develop a new belief system about ourselves. The answer to a lot of these questions is to develop a new belief system. If you have a bad relationship with starting over, develop a new belief system to where starting over is the best thing ever. When people want to stop smoking cigarettes, they typically go to a hypnotist that makes them believe that smoking cigarettes is the most disgusting thing ever. That's why they don't want to do it, because they changed their belief system and now their belief system is repulsed by the very thing that they once liked. So that's what happened to us over time. Over time, your belief system has become one that doesn't support you doing new things and starting from scratch and stepping into new spaces. So we have to reprogram our mind and develop a new belief system that supports that I am worthy, I am supposed to be here, I am exactly what I need to be, and also we have to accept that we might always feel a little disconnected from what we're doing because we're in it, we're doing it. So it's easy to feel disconnected from who you are, what you're doing, where you're stepping into, and it's a lifelong process. And what I've had to learn is to, one, see myself the way someone would see me if they never saw me before. Look at myself through the eyes of someone who's never seen someone like me before. Like how good must that be to come across me? and have never met me before. You should feel the same way about yourself. Like, we have to stop thinking about ourselves from the point of us. You are used to you. You've known the worst, cringy, most embarrassing, most secretive. You know everything about you. There's a reason we hold secrets in. There's a reason we don't tell everybody everything about us, because we want to maintain how people feel about us. You don't have the benefit of doing that to yourself. You can't pick and choose what you know about you. So what imposter syndrome really is, a like a fully transparent, no BS view and understanding of yourself. All of your faults, all of your shortcomings, all of your weaknesses, all of your mistakes, all of your L's, all of your lies, all of the things that you said you did and you didn't do it. So even though people are like, but you did this, you're like, yeah, knowing you didn't do it, I think that we have to recognize that none of that matters. The things that you've done don't determine where you're going or what you're worthy of or what you can achieve right now. And we have to stop holding ourselves to a standard that we don't hold anybody else to. If you were grading anybody else based on every decision they've ever made in their entire life, you probably wouldn't think anybody was fit to do a damn thing, because we've all made horrific decisions to where you'd be like, oh, I don't want to learn from this person. I don't want to buy nothing from this person. I don't want to step into this with this person. When you like people and look at them from a distance or whatever, you never know what's going on beneath the surface. You never know what that person is dealing with, is struggling with. We have the benefit of not knowing everybody's business, but you know all of your business. So imposter syndrome is a thing because we just can't accept that we can have what we want to have and be what we want to be, knowing everything that we know about ourselves. When in reality, if we knew everybody how we know ourselves, we wouldn't think anybody was capable of doing anything, because we would be looking at all of their mistakes, all of their L's, all of their problems. You don't know anybody's every single L. You don't know. You don't know any person and know every mistake they've ever made, everything that's ever made them feel less than, everything that's ever made them feel disappointed. When you think about stepping into something new, that's everything you're thinking about. That's everything that's coming to your mind. You're only focused on your problems, on your issues, of all the reasons that you shouldn't. So to combat and overcome imposter syndrome, start thinking about all the reasons that you should. And that's it. That's all I'm going to say about that. Think about all the reasons that you should have it. Think about all the reasons that you are worthy. Flood your mind with every thought about why you're worthy, why you're deserving, why you're perfect for the space that you're in. No matter what you've been through, no matter what you've done, that makes you more perfect. You are perfect for it because of who you are and what you've been through and what you've done, not in spite of those things. So tell that to yourself, teach that to yourself, put that on repeat in your brain. Literally, whenever you're trying to overcome imposter syndrome, you have to think differently and feel differently, and you have to see yourself in a different light. You have to program your brain to do that. And how you do that is, again, focusing on all of the reasons why you are worthy. Don't let the imposter syndrome thoughts have the most strength. Put your strength and put the focus and the power in the thoughts that are going to get you where you want to be. Okay. Also, depression, overcoming depression. First of all, depression, I don't know if depression is something that you can overcome totally. I think if you suffer from depression, you're always going to maybe deal with certain levels of depression. The laziness might get you some days. The debilitating darkness might get you another day. The lack of sleep might get you some days. The lack of appetite or the lack of energy might get you some other days. The lack of empathy for others might get you. The lack of hope might get you on some days. So there's so many different things that depression brings into your life. There's so many different things that you deal with when you suffer from depression. And I don't know if you'll ever be able to not deal with any of those things or fully overcome all of those things. I think that when you're recovering from a depressive state, it's important to give yourself a lot of patience, a lot of love. And I think it's also important to just remember that you are okay and you're normal, and not to focus so much on changing how you feel or changing who you are. Just focus on accepting what you're feeling and accepting where those things are coming from, and find something to anchor you into something that's bigger than yourself. For me, God has quite literally saved my life on many occasions, to the point where, I don't know. I don't want to get into too much, but I think that it's important to just look to something that's bigger than you, and to look to something that knows more than you, and to look to something that has a greater understanding of the universe and the world than you do. We can't understand why we suffer. We'll never understand why we suffer and why we have to deal with certain things and carry certain burdens with us, and why life never gets easier. And we can't understand those things. So we don't spend your time trying to figure that stuff out. Focus on the things that make you hopeful about life. Focus on the things that keep you faithful about life. Focus on the things that help you when you're in those moments when you don't feel your best. Really remember the things that make you feel your best and do those things more often. If you remember a time when walking outside in the sun made you feel better, then do that. If you remember a time when, taking a bubble bath or talking to a friend or looking at a YouTube video makes you feel better, then do that. I watch SpongeBob all the time because it's a comfort thing. A lot of the stuff that I watch on TV, a lot of the stuff that I do is because it made me feel good when I was feeling terrible, or it made me feel good when I was feeling a little bit bad. Anything that brings you any type of joy is something that should be repeated. Repeat the things that bring you joy. That's something to help you overcome and combat depression. Repeat the things that bring you joy. Repeat the things that make you happy. And don't feel like there's anything wrong with you. Don't feel like this is something that you have to fix. It'll be fixed. It'll be fixed. I don't know if anyone will have to suffer forever. I think that eventually over time throughout life, you end up in a space where maybe you're just bigger than your demons, and maybe that never happens. I don't know. I'm young. I'm not 60 or 70 or 80 yet. I can't tell you too much about how things change, as you're living. But I feel like, and maybe I'll feel the same when I'm 50. Who knows? Maybe we'll feel the same forever. But I do think that dedicating all of your energy to try to fix something where you really don't have any control over in the first place, that's not always the best thing. That is not always the best course of action. To make sure you're being kind to yourself mentally and still giving yourself a chance to move forward and, get to where you need to be mentally. Sometimes putting that pressure on yourself can really, really, really make it harder for you to move forward, believe in yourself, have faith, So yeah, be very kind to yourself, seek help. Don't feel like you have to do it on your own. Find a therapist, find a psychiatrist, find somebody that you can talk to. If you're ever in a moment of crisis, use the crisis hotline. And, just do the things that bring you joy, and be very, very patient with yourself. Be in spaces where people accept you for who you are. Also be in spaces where people challenge you to take your power back and your control back over your life. I also think, for depression, it's going to be good to kind of just reprogram your mind and change the way that you think, and just remind yourself in moments like things can get better. It's not always going to be like this. I have reasons to find joy. I have reasons to be happy. Even if you don't believe it, sometimes just speaking it to yourself can be something good enough to get you over the hump. But yeah, do the things that bring you joy and be patient with yourself. So yes, wrapping up, accepting the phase that you're in. So accepting the phase that you're in. I think this is just about just focusing on the present moment. When you spend time not thinking about the future, not feeling guilty about the past, just focusing on the present moment, I think that is what allows you to accept the space that you're in. Stop thinking about the future. Just focus on what you have today. Focus on what you have today, and you'll begin to accept what you have today. There's no better way to find gratitude in the present moment than to just bring your attention to the present moment. Bring your attention, bring your mind to what you're doing, what you're feeling right now, today. And if you want to change something, don't think about changing it next week. Change it today. I think that is what gives you a relationship to the present moment. That's what makes you find safety in the present moment. When your safety is the future because it's uncomfortable in the present moment, you're not going to ever spend any time really focusing on what you need to focus on and getting into what you need to get into. You'll always be looking ahead somewhere else, So I think really giving yourself the opportunity and the chance to bring your attention back to right here, right now, what you're experiencing, what you're feeling on a day-to-day, taking life 24 hours at a time, I think is a really, really good way to accept the phase that you're in. And also recognize all of the reasons you're not prepared for where you're going in the future. I think that a lot of times we can't accept the phase that we're in because we feel like we should be further, So sometimes it benefits us to recognize, well, maybe I'm not ready for this yet because I do have to work on this and I do have to work on this. Appreciate the fact that you're being able to prepare so you don't mess up all of your blessings. You know, appreciate the fact that time is giving you an opportunity to get ready because you ain't ready. You know, so see the process as a blessing, as a gift. See time as a gift. Recognize how you're being prepared in this moment, and find all of the joy that you get in patience, that you get in waiting, that you get in acceptance. You know, many things have come to us in life because we waited and because we've been patient. We always get things right when we need them. And there are some things that we get and we feel like, oh my God, this is exactly what I needed. And it ends up being something terrible, you know, so just be realistic with life. You know, don't feel like things have to go your way for you to be happy. A lot of stuff has gone your way and it's made you miserable. A lot of times you got the job you wanted and the person you wanted and you were kind of mad about it, you know? So sometimes things have to go the opposite of what you want so you can kind of find happiness in it. So know that you don't know everything and be happy about it. So yeah, I hope that gives you guys the gist of a little bit of everything. You know, the journey of starting over, overcoming imposter syndrome and depression, and also accepting the current phase that you're in. I hope this gave you guys a lot of different things to think about, and just, you know, very simplistic terms about how you can just, you know, navigate the current spaces that you're in right now with more joy, with more happiness, with more patience, with more grace. I think that we're definitely in a shift for everybody consciously. And I'm excited to be a part of it. And I hope you guys are too. Again, thank you guys for chiming in on that last post on my community tab, letting me know what you guys want to hear. Everything listed under there will be touched on in a video coming soon. If you have something you want me to talk about, leave it under the community tab. Check out that last picture that I posted of myself. I have the information there. So make sure you let me know the tea about what you want to hear. But I appreciate y'all. I love you guys. I thank you guys for rocking with me as always. We are officially, I believe, we're over 96,000 subscribers. So yeah, I appreciate y'all. And I hope you guys are feeling great. And you can connect with me as always by looking at the link in the description box and booking sessions with me and getting connected. But I appreciate y'all. I love y'all. And I will see you guys next time. Bye guys. Bless.